Now you took it away from me? Oh, my daughter says she had... Why I want to start with SEDA is because it's very short. Accounting officer, would you take us to introduce your written submission or responses in respect of SEDA? I have mine here, but I want you to guide us. For colleagues, it is a document that the accounting officer named status report. So do not get confused by the nomenclature. Yes, Mr. Mwanda.
Thank you, Chair and honorable members. On the status of implementation of the SEDA grant, if you looked at our submission on page 24 of 25, the issue raised by the Auditor General was the delayed implementation of the SEDA grant, indicating amounts that had not yet been implemented. I want to report to you, Chair and members, that the two remaining items that were in that SEDA grant, which are the printing of materials, for Katosa Matters Villa and the provision of non-palatable onion seeds, have now been completed, and documents regarding the deliveries of the two items have been submitted to the committee. Thank you, Chair.
Any questions?
The question is mainly, Chair, is not whether they have now utilized it or not, was non-utilization of all the funds at that time in the budgeted period, because this is ended June 2023 accounts, but by the time of the audit, these activities had not been done, so they have only done them after. I think the issue is why there was full implementation of the budget, because that delays, and it also has its own challenges. Because as you look at these projects, it's not only this, even the other one has has a similar challenge, the one we are going to move to next.
Let's deal with the one before us.
So it looks like it's a recurring problem.
Would you also want to ask whether there is a framework under which they continued implementing after the expire of the project?
I hope they have heard your question, Chair.
I asked you whether you would like to ask them
to
adopt my question.
I adopt your question, so they should be able to respond.
Okay, let's have a response to that.
Chair, with us here is the project officer, the manager planning. I would like to ask him to explain, but the delay relates to procurement and relates to the processes of World Bank. But Mr. Kapere, kindly explain.
This is the implementer.
He's the project officer, sir.
Is Mr.
Richard Kapere. No, manager planning.
As conservation.
No, sir, planning. Conservation planning. No. Manager conservation planning.
How come you've not been bringing him? You wanted to balance power? Because I showed you some...
Partly, sir, but because we were going to discuss this particular item, we thought it would be helpful.
Mr. Kapere,
it's well conserved.
Don't feel intimidated. That's how we create an enabling environment for us to work. But you're welcome. Please tell us.
Thank you, Honorable Chair, and the honorable members. Chair, I'm even your voter, so
You will pay me before you leave, because I cannot represent you for free.
You
So,
are no voter or which voter?
He said, is my voter.
And
Did you talk about a party?
And no, because you know where you belong.
That's where I belong. But when he's voting me. He's voting the candidate.
Not no member.
He would have said so. Well, actually, if he's a NUP voter, I would like to congratulate him because I'm sure every intelligent man would vote NUP. Thank you very much.
I'm just a voter in the constituency that you represent.
Proceed. You just ignore the fish.
Okay, thank you, Chair. SEDA is a one-year project which is ending in May 2024. And it was mainly to deal with livelihood activities that would help us, came in just at the time of COVID to help us reduce pressure on 3 protected areas. That is Torosemliki, Queen National Park, and Machon Falls National Park. So the delayed implementation of some of the activities are twofold. One, World Bank has got procedures that are very tedious. Each and every step that you must do, you have to consult the official in World Bank who doesn't stay in Uganda, and you must get a response before you go ahead. Once you get that clearance, then you proceed. But we also have our own procurement procedures that we have to abide by. So preparing those documentation that requires both parties to be in agreement takes a little bit of time. But as the chief of the institution has said, we have now finished those activities that we are delaying, and the project is actually going to close. Thank you, Chair.
Chair. I'm just thinking aloud and wondering how the procurement can be so complicated for just printing materials. Because here it's just about printing materials for this place, for Cosase Villa, and then the supply of non-palatable onion seedlings. The other big amount, which is 97%, which made a line, would have been a more complicated one than just this one of just printing materials. Are you to say that the procurement process for the printing materials was the one having those challenges? Or you are talking in generality, but we are being specific here on this specific project because it's just printing materials.
Chair and the honorable member, there is a plan. There are things that you do in the first month, second month, third month, and so forth. So these particular activities were scheduled to be done towards the end of the project. That's one. Two, these activities also have contracts. You don't just procure.
I thought those reserved for towards the end would actually give you ample time to plan the procurement.
But
because they're coming at the tail end.
So you're also doing the other activities which also taking your time.
I thought when you were signing the memorandum, you saw all that you were meant to do. You knew you would do this and that, and you demonstrated ability to do them concurrently or simultaneously. Idi?
Chair, these two actually had preliminary activities because you don't just print materials, you have to develop them. And those require contracting a consultant who consults, develops, and then at the tail end, you do the printing. So because of the delays all along the way, you end up printing late because it's a process. The same thing goes to the onions, sir.
So, Chair, through Executive Director, I would like to ask Mr. Kaperi, do you have the project implementation plan of this project?
Yes, sir.
So can we have it, if possible, or you give us at the right time, and even the status report as per now? And will you able to finish this project, because it is ending in June of this year? So are you certain by the end of June will you be ready? Go on microphone.
Yes, the documents will be shared, but to answer your last question, the project is closing and we are closing. All the activities have been done now.
Very quickly, Honorable Itungo.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Chair, now that the gentleman is here, vote, I'm just going to ask the ED. ED.
You're right to fear my voters.
Yes, I respect my chair.
They are in authority here.
ED, I want to find out. There was an exit meeting after the audit. Did this gentleman attend the exit meeting? That is the first question. Then the second question, the answer he's giving now, did he give the same answer to the auditors? So ED, you can answer. I also have a voter there. So
No, he wasn't in the meeting, so he couldn't give an answer to that. But we are talking of activities being completed as of now, rather than at the exit meeting, sir.
Okay, that's answered. The Honorable who? Is this Lieutenant Kahonda or Corporal Kahonda?
Chair, as a paralegal, I would say, anyway, it would be a wrong address. But Chair, this is a project that I think started in 2020, 2021, 21, 22. And the project manager is talking of delays in procurement, and the vice chair has put it clear to them on whether they had a project implementation plan. Because from the submission of the accounting officer, to me it seems it is poor planning. Because if you really planned your activities well, then this question of delay shouldn't arise. Secondly, Mr. Chairman, I don't know how I can believe their statement, their submission, that everything has been done. I don't know whether they have submitted some documents to prove that, i.e., the contract documents, to prove that you have really contracted some people to supply. And then two, have you issued out call of orders for the suppliers to supply? Because there is no way I personally can believe you that you have really reached that level basing on what has been raised by the Auditor General. Can you prove to us that that has been done? Thank you.
Chair, this project was funded by the World Bank, and the delay of almost 2 years speaks a lot. I want to know from either your voter or the ED the opinion of the funders of this project vis-a-vis the delay. Then two, normally when project delays, there is an increment in the funding of the project. Is there any other money that was incurred due to delay of this project? And if so, who bears those costs?
Okay, those questions, let's have them answered in 1 minute. And we close this chapter.
Chair, the Director of Finance will help me on the issue.
Just proof that you have concluded.
Yes, the proof.
And wound up this.
The opinion of the World Bank is actually, because at every step and at every level at which we moved, they were moving with us. They were happy with the implementation. We actually have gotten additional funding promised because of the way that we implemented. They were satisfied with our implementation. Was there increment of cost? No, because the budget was maintained as is, and I think there is some little money that remained over that is being moved to the IFPA project, which is still ongoing. Mr. Mugisa will handle the rest. Thank you. The project implementation plan is there. Whenever you do a plan, you have to have assumptions. Sometimes those assumptions cause changes in your planning, so you have to keep revising it, and that's why even this was a 2021 project. The World Bank extended it up to May 2024 because the assumptions, some of the assumptions didn't work out, and therefore there was need to change the programming. Thank you.
Mr. Mugisa.
Chair, I'd like to respond to the issue of the implementation as well. We did share the implementation plan with the auditors, and in that they identified the 2 activities which had not been implemented. That is as per their statement, and that's paragraph on page 24. And these are the 2 activities which we are reporting on the status as of now, that indeed as at 30th they had not been completed, but as of today they have since been completed. And the delays were a myriad of things.
Okay,
steps,
the auditor says they did not get the project implementation plan, so please submit it. I think let's not waste much time on that. Okay?
Okay, we'll submit, Chair.
Yeah. One thing which is common between the 2 projects is the way you prepared your accounts. My understanding is that this is a dichotomy in reporting formats. On the one hand, probably when we look at the memorandum of understanding you signed, which we want you to bring to us, we could probably see why you formatted the financial accounts that way. You will agree with me that that's not a format provided by the Accountant General. Mr. Mugisa, you agree with me, right? The format in the attached financial statements.
Yes, Chair, my comment on that, when the format we used were guided by the Auditor General, coming from the other projects that they had audited.
Sure.
They shared with us some of the other projects of World Bank, and they advised us to pick that template.
Look, I think it's something we need to sort out between the auditors, because the different auditors give us different information. But like it comes down to what I said, because that's a format for World Bank. The other part of the dichotomy, why I say dichotomy, is because there is a format provided by government of Uganda on how to account. we will guide you maybe in the report on how to do it going forward, because while we do not want you to close the taps from the other side of the funder, we also want to comply with our own domestic law. So I think colleagues, we will have to interrogate that and have a discussion, a conversation around that, and guide the entity. I do not want to blame the entity for adopting that format. They have a basis, but at the same time, we must find a way of complying with the law. Please, subject to submission of those documents. I have closed this one. Let's go to the next project. Thank you very much. We have closed this one. They didn't answer your question? Okay, if there is a question which was not answered, namely?
About the proof
Of completion?
Yes.
No. That proof is going to be by documentation, which I've asked them to provide. I have already guided on that, because proof, they have said we have two, or we can only have two pieces of evidence. The first is their oral testimony, which they have given. The next is the documentation. Let's have the documentation on Monday. Is it printed?
You see,
No, they said to the auditors. Did I hear you right? Yes, he said we submitted to the auditors. I even made a guidance and said the auditors say you did not give them. But now, to cut the long story short, give them to us. I think, I believe so. Anyway,
there was the issue of the format.
Do you have?
They said it's submitted.
Do you have written evidence of completion with you here? Because the witnesses are here.
No, sir, we will bring it on Monday.
Monday, they will bring it. Don't worry, they are still our witnesses. Thank you very much. Colleagues, I would implore you that we now cross over to IFPA. IFPA is a little more lengthy, but within the same range. So I do not expect us to spend a lot of time on it equally. Mr. Mwanda?
Thank you, Chair. Page 22 of our submission, item 16 says delayed implementation of Uganda investing in forests and protected areas for climate smart development project. Credit 6592 UG and IDA grant D596.
Is that IDA?
IDA grant D596-UG. Chair and members, the IFPA CD is a grant that is running for 6 years.
Colleagues, are you at page 22 of the responses? That's where he is. Marked Annex 2, status on implementation of OAG's recommendation. No. The same, colleagues, the entity submitted responses which we have been using since we started with them. Honorable Cooper, I know you love borrowing. And for me, I painfully lend, especially to those who have nothing to lend to me. Look at page 22, that's where we are. Money, yes, but I'm not a money lender, so you come with your father's title.
Chair, the issue of delayed implementation relates to the establishment and maintenance of roads, the issue of the human-wildlife conflict, the issue of eradication of invasive species, the issue of other equipment which are related to logistics, equipment related to communication, boundary demarcation for protected areas impacted by refugees, equipment of communication for refugee impacted protected areas, and establishment and maintenance of maritime roads, game viewing tracks, and other access infrastructure.
Chair,
Yes.
why are we starting from 20, not 10?
10?
Yes.
Don't worry. We will get there. We will see what his interest in 10. I get mine so that I get this time you want to lend, to be the lender. You return a favor. I will get it. I think I need it. Give me yours. Oh yeah, it's here. So 10 is the underutilization of funds. Okay. Yes.
Chair, I apologize. We missed preparing the response of that one. But when we look at the delayed implementation, it also points to underutilization, and the relationship is similar, for which I want to indicate, sir, that we had challenges with the limited procurement staff, and so the procurements were slow. We have now recruited and posted a specific staff responsible for the project who is helping handle the matters faster. But again, the issue of World Bank approvals remains a challenge for us. Therefore, there are shifts in the timelines because of the delays in the various approvals from the World Bank that caused that delay.
Let me ask you, Mr. Mwanda.
Yes, sir.
It is a question of planning.
Yes.
First, unlike the ordinary, the conventional civil service or public service, whatever you want to call it, the recruitment process within an entity like UWA are not as rigorous. How long does it take you to recruit a procurement officer? That's number one. Number two, before you recruit that procurement officer, what is so difficult about designating somebody, one or two in a department, in the meantime? Because you see, if you asked me, I am not a procurement person. If I were working for an organization, I'm not saying after Parliament employ me, I don't think I could fail to do basic things of procurement, because what I would do, I would go to the law. Two, you have been procuring anyway. Yes. So how can you say that the absence of a procurement officer could delay you this much? Two, that it takes you ages to procure a procurement officer. Three, that when you were signing this agreement, you knew the components, and that for you to implement the project, you would need a procurement officer. You know, in, I don't know, some people were not born, but in 1966, somebody called Niyogi wrote an article, or published an article written by Abmayanja, that the delay to appoint a Chief Justice after Saudo Udoma leaving was because there was nobody fit from a particular village. Could it have been the case that there was no procurement officer qualifying, say, from Busiro? You needed somebody to go to school from Busiro to qualify, then you appoint. Would you give us an explanation?
Chair, thank you very much for that question. The number of procurement officers we've had before in UA are 3. They were responsible for providing the procurement services to both headquarters and the 7 conservation areas. It was a big job. That's why we did do a recruitment and added 5 more.
Actually, you have fortified my answer. That with a project like this one, funded with timeline, you simply get one from one of those existing. Yes, the workload is a little heavier. Then as you recruit, this person goes back to the original station. It's not that you had no procurement personnel.
No, we had procurement personnel, but they overwhelmed with the work.
We all overwhelmed. That's why we left at 8 yesterday. Yes, the Honorable Martin Muzale, the only one who was born.
You realize that this is not where actually we are finding a problem in regard to human resource. When we were talking yesterday about the issue of ICT, the same thing surfaced. They knew they were getting a project, but they did not prepare the human resource. And it's equally the same that is actually happening here. They knew they were getting a project, but they did not prepare the human resource that is going actually to run that project. I think when ED, since one of our objectives is basically to help you improve on service delivery, you need to understand that whenever there is a project that is coming on board, you can have staff on contract basis. That can be of help to you, other than saying, you know, we've delayed because of lack of human resource. We have so many people who are unemployed. If you just ask us to identify for you, we can even bring you 100 procurement officers in just an hour. Thank you, Chair.
Surely, from your constituencies, they are one. And they are looking for degree holders. Hey. Okay, Elijah.
Yeah. I hope it's not the same reason why we can't have 30% of the women in the top management in the Uganda Wildlife Authority. Having said that,
your response to gender equality and compliance could explain why we are not having cubs in our lion population. Yes.
Having said that, I hope they have taken that seriously, because there is supposed to be gender equity and compliance everywhere. Chair, the issue of when the ED talked about that they needed to have procurement officers in all this for these conservation areas. How many procurement people will you then end up having as procurement officers? Because how many big procurements do you handle in a year? 3 or 4 people can handle that work. I look at the institution like Parliament here, which is quite big, but they have about 4 or 5 procurement officers to handle the work. Now, the money at stake here is 16 billion, which remained unspent because for the 2 financial years, we don't know now with this coming year whether there will be another addition. So, unless you're telling us Mr. Paul here is not up to the task. Did I get your name properly? Or Paul? Marco Paul. Are you up to the task?
I am, sir. I am.
You are not.
I think conclude we.
So, Edie, I think you have had our comments. It's not a good thing. Because
those are our concerns.
Chair,
16 billion? No.
Chair, we had some big cost items in this procurement. By the time of the audit, we had, I believe, signed contracts, but the deliveries were not yet done. We have now gotten the road equipment, which actually affects the maintenance of roads, so that cost is related. We have gotten 3 graders, 2 excavators, 2 bulldozers, and we are waiting for delivery soon of tippers and water bowsers. And we already, that already takes away 8 billion from the budget that wasn't utilized. So you can see that we're already making movement. The radio equipment, a third of the radio equipment have been supplied. We are waiting for the other 2/3. The equipment on human wildlife conflict, the supplies have been made and work is ongoing. I think that shows that we are moving well now, that we have the relevant staff in their stations. Thank you.
Yes, Elijah. You want to be on record?
Yeah. When you bring the issues of the staff and what, but that was not your response here. The response is different. I don't know why you couldn't even pick from here, because when you read here, there are issues of administrative reviews, which of course led to these issues of the objections of the World Bank and what, because we know those are the things which can delay, which can delay the project. I don't know why you picked that and picked something which you have not answered here. This should sound more plausible than the issue of saying that we don't have the staff.
So which is which? Are you amending? Are you substituting? Are you adopting both?
Chair, both are correct. There are certain procurements that had that went to the tribunal, administrative review. The others that we are delayed because of what I have already mentioned, sir.
And would you want to give us a status report on both? Okay, you have given us on the other side. And the status on this other?
I will ask Marco Paul to help me with the ones that we are on administrative review. I can't recollect.
Sir, and through you, actually we had a complaint about the communication equipment, and that's where the administrative review comes in, and that is a procurement for 3 billion plus. So that one we sorted out, and we are on course, and part of the deliveries have been done. And others, I would also add that what Mr. Kapere said also holds. The process is at World Bank and our side. When you look at the planning that time, we have boundary demarcation, the pillars, which needed E, S, and H. They really emphasize on that. We have not actually had the approval. Environmental, social, and health screening. Yes. Reports, which World Bank really emphasizes. So once those things are done, that's when we carry on with the procurement. But we had already planned for them. So those are also things which bring in the delay. So we have their works. That one, like I've said, of the boundary pillars, the boardwalks, the ladders, and others that I may not talk about.
Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, this is Parliament of record, and the procurement officer and the accounting officer, they are on record. The question here is delayed implementation, and the figure is attached to it. You are now telling us road equipment worth 8.3 billion has since been delivered. And I assume that in answering some of the raised questions to the Auditor General's officers, it was by proof of documents. We have also had experience where such stories are told and there is nothing done. Mr. Chairman, we have also had where some agencies say it has been done, and when you go to scrutinize the documents, for example, here you find like a grader has been procured at 3 billion. Can you prove to us that you are not like such an entity, that those things have been done, and these are the documents to prove that indeed some procurements were done? Probably, if you have them now, you submit them, for us to believe that what you are telling us is actually nothing but the truth.
I think we revert to our position. Just give us written evidence of completion. We have another methodology of visiting to see the equipment. Where is our equipment?
Chair, the road equipment were delivered in January. We have already sent them to the parks. I would just ask the chief wardens who have received them to just stand so that you see that they have been delivered.
So that we see the equipment. Okay, you stand and we see the equipment.
So that they confirm they have received them.
Actually, when I look at the first one...
Without looking behind me to intimidate them, sir.
No, the first one appears to have received. But the other one, if he had received them, he would not be putting on a yellow shirt. I think let's do it this way. No, let's be neater. We will receive his written report. We will dispatch a team or the entire committee to go and see the equipment before we write the report. I think let's not spend much.
Chair.
Yes?
Thank you. What you are saying is correct. We can go to the field and see. But then, wouldn't there be actually the auditor's report indicating that there is an inventory of assets like this? Apart from his report, I expected in the documents clearly indicating that this is supposed to be, we have this, and we have added on this. It is an asset register. Yes.
Have you updated your asset register to include these?
Chair, we have an asset register as of 30th June. The equipment came in January. We are yet to update our asset register.
That is true. Yeah, that is true. I think that that's the position. We will see physically. Some people can even write in the register when the equipment is not there. Yes, Nathan?
So is this amount now all fully utilized, the 16.6 billion? The 16.6 billion is now all absorbed now?
No, not all of it, sir.
Okay, that will come in their report. Nathan?
Chair, I just want a clarification, because I don't know how many equipment you bought. I have only seen 2 people. Are they only 2?
No, are they
No,
only
you
two,
see,
are there only 2 packs?
if you're doing a grader, it goes with an excavator.
So how many graders did you buy?
Let the 2 people speak.
Because I can see only 2 people.
We have 3 graders, 2 excavators, 2 bulldozers.
Now, there are only 2 who stood up. Where is the 3rd grader? The voter, what are you saying?
Maction Falls got 2 graders. One is meant for Ajay that falls within Maction Falls, sir.
I think, Chair, before we go, we need even the registration numbers. That we go with the numbers. Only you can borrow graders for the sake of our visit.
We don't do that in OA, sir.
Mr. Chairman,
we do not do it.
I want to receive my witnesses on the faith of face value trust. When I look at men with glasses, I always believe that what they are telling me is right. That's why I can't believe Elijah Okupa now, because he has put off his glasses.
But you remember the old man who was putting on glasses, who put a number of a tractor to the minister. You remember?
But you keep blaming other people. Here you approved a deputy IGP who came with a forged number plate, a false number plate. So leave some people when you choose to leave others. I think let's take this guidance.
Chair, I'm concluding, Mr. Chairman.
I'm going to receive Nathan. I saw Honorable Chiwanuka's hand. I don't know if he has been represented after Nathan. Or the hand was supporting the head.
No, he asked me and I heard it.
Surely.
Thank you, Chair. In regard to the constant issue which is being raised, regarding the issue, there was failure to recruit various personalities manning various projects. Specifically, I'm on the issue where the accounting officer say about the delay to procure about the procurement of the regarding the procurement officer. Can we know specifically, because they said they were procured, who is this person who was procured and what was the procurement process? How was it?
The procurement process, I'll ask the project office and procurement manager to help me, but the officer is called Shem Kawadwa. He's on contract to serve as the project procurement officer.
Yes, thank you.
And the documents about his procurement, the documents about his appointment are submitted. Mark.
Yes, sir. Yeah, thank you, Edie. We procured this personnel, okay, like consultant, the way it is from, by public bidding. We advertised. And it was in papers. We can bring the evidence as we are bringing other documents. The name is called Kawadwa Shem. They did interviews. I think there were 10, and one person qualified. We interviewed them.
Are you the project manager, the project procurement officer?
We work hand in hand. No,
And
you, I mean you.
What are you?
I am
Is the
procurement
question.
manager, Marco Paul, procurement manager, Uganda Wildlife Authority.
And the name
And
of the
in this
consultant?
project, I am the focal person, procurement, for this project.
And can you repeat the name of the consultant?
It's called Shem Kawadwa,
Shem Kawadwa.
Mr.
It's on contract for how long?
For 4 years.
As
Yes.
a project,
Up to the
as a project manager,
up to the life of the end of this procurement.
as a procurement officer.
Nathan?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I want the accounting office and the team. Mr. Accounting Officer,
What do you want them to do?
I want them to pay attention.
But they have been attentive.
Now, the issue of delay, including the documents that you brought yesterday in the morning, you delayed them. Chair, I'm reading the main report. When you look in the main report, there are 3 queries about the delay. And this one of the project, I think, is the 4th one. Mr. Chairman, the first query in the main report, delayed evaluation of authorities' assets. There was a delay. There was a delay on disbursement and accountability on revenue shared to local government. There was a delay. Chair, there is a delay on the completion of the reservation, booking, payments, and whatever. Now here, this is another 4th delay. So I want to ask you, why do you think the Auditor General is concerned about these delays? In your opinion, why do you think the Auditor General is concerned?
No, I don't think they will need to answer that question.
So
They cannot answer for the Auditor General. Where something is axiomatic, like this one, it is a delay. You don't even need an opinion of the Auditor General. Maybe what you are telling them is to concede, and we move to the next. No, wait. Do you want to answer for them?
they give information.
But he did not apply to give you information. But how can it pass through me before I accept? Please proceed, Peter.
Thank you, Chair. Why my colleague is saying these delays, actually, we feel that they must have an impact, a financial implication. And in addition to that, this is a credit fund. Doesn't it accrue something? That's why I'm saying this delay must have an impact. Yes or no? I wanted the response from them to augment what my
I am surprised that a fisherman is bailing out. Is he herdsman? Does this one have cows? Then a gold miner. I think before the vice chair comes in, the reinforcement by the Honorable Keyo. When you look at the main report, the report of the Auditor General, under 2.0, which Honorable Cooper pointed out you had left out, you find that there are 2 components of this loan, one of the facility. One is a credit worth 78,200, and you tell us the component of credit that was taken by UA, and of course IDA grant 5960 is the grant. So accounting officer, of this 78,200 USD, how much went to UA?
Chair, let me ask project officer to look up the information and share from the project.
As he looks for it, it accumulates interest. And yet, the value is not being achieved by Ugandans as a result of the delays. The Honorable Nathan Itungo, in so many words, trying to cross-examine you like a lawyer, as if you will ever go to law school, was asking you, why is delay part of your culture, custom, norm, orientation, and style. There's delay here, there's delay there. The only place where you have not delayed is coming here. No, today's delay was not occasioned by him. He had a solid defense.
No, if you have paid salaries or you have delayed salaries again.
So, my friend, the way Mugisa is looking and happy, or Mr. Kapere, can you look at Mr. Kapere and say he has not, they have delayed paying him? I overruled that question because the answer is visible. Okay, let's have those responses. Oh, no, before that, Vice Chair.
When it goes to Director Finance, this project has different accounts, like an account in dollars and the other one in Uganda shillings. By 30th June 2023, can we be possible to get certificate of bank balances from the Bank of Uganda? If possible, if you don't have them now, you can, yes, for the two accounts, the certificates of balances. If you don't have them, you can at least submit the copies in time to the clerk.
Okay.
Yes, Honorable Chair, just one question.
No. We don't even know you. Access the microphone only for introduction.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. I'm glad to be given that wonderful opportunity to get known in this space at this time of the day. I'm Dr. Batua Timothy Lusala. I represent the people of Jinja West in this parliament, and I'm a member on this committee.
Don't mind about this one asking you for the clan, because I know the clan he wants to hear. That one we were advised yesterday is not there in Busoga. Okay, you had a question,
yes,
Dr. Batua.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Mine goes to the procurement manager. After ascertaining that there were some delays, I'm pushed to know the nature of contract you had with the consultant. Was it time-based? Was it lump sum?
Please answer those questions and we close this. Subject to provision of documents as guided earlier.
It is lump sum. We pay him monthly.
Mr. Mugisa?
Chair, I do not have the certificate of balance on this file, but I'll deliver it on Monday.
Thank you. Edie, anything?
Chair, Mr. Kapere is going to explain the figures.
Yes, thank you, Chair. If PACD is implemented by 3 agencies, who are NFA and the department in the Ministry of Water and Environment, so for the grant components, Uganda Wildlife Authority was allocated $5 million. For the credit component, Uganda Wildlife Authority was allocated about $35 million. That is the total that we have for the project.
Can you be specific of the number? We are interested in the exact numbers, not about.
35,502,000 US dollars. That is the credit component out of the 7.
Just for purposes he has not captured well, can you repeat? Start afresh from the 5 million. From the $5 million.
From the $5 million. Okay. The grant component, Uganda Wildlife Authority shares 5,166,620 US dollars.
Okay. Next.
For the credit component, Uganda Wildlife Authority shares 35,502,000 US dollars.
You're saying shares or gets, because sometimes if you share, they share together with the others, the 5 million, or that's your portion of the bigger thing for the 3 entities.
This is the portion for the from the bigger project.
Okay.
Yeah.
Proceed.
I think that is all I needed to explain. Thank you.
Chair, briefly to say that whereas there are indication from Honorable Nathani Tungo regarding the delays, he mentioned 4. If you read the entire audit report, the Auditor General did indicate that we have done well in many areas, more than the 4 areas of delay. But that is not to say that we like to delay. We take note of the concerns of this committee, and we will work better so that when we appear before you next year, you will see that there are no more delays. Thank you.
I overruled you on the salary. When I looked at Mr. Kapere, I was convinced that these people have already received their salary. Apart from the other one wearing yellow, I'm sure the rest of the staff have been paid. Oh, they are 2 wearing yellow. I want to thank you. That brings us to the end of these particular 2 reports. Now we are going to go into ancillary issues that have come to the committee's attention along the way as we've been navigating this long journey. I want to give you some 5 minutes to stretch. I'm told these days there are clothes flying around. I don't want you to get them from here. I had wanted to summon the coach. You need to summon Coach Bob, to come and stretch us a bit. Yeah, even today we still have time. So when he comes, sorry? Okay, yo.
Chair.
But no, there are no UPDF on the lake chasing him. Yes.
Chair, there are certain documents you had requested for yesterday. If you don't mind, would like to... Okay, sir.
inspiring Uganda